Go with the Pros is brought to you by OnTime Service. We know summer isn't done yet, and when August rolls around, we want our HVAC units in the best shape possible. If you have an older unit, how do you know when it's time to replace it? Carrie Adkins from OnTime Service has the answer for us. Welcome back. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes, and this is the time of year you definitely want your air conditioning to work well.
Yes,
You want it
100%.
to be, yes, at its peak performance. Now, if you have an older unit, maybe every year you've had your guys come out and repair it, when is it time to just replace it?
So the biggest factor is just the age of the system. In our area, about 12 to 15 years is what you're going to get out of it. Are you having to work on it all the time? You know, is it breaking down a lot? That's another one of those signs. And do your utility bills just keep getting higher and higher and higher every season?
That's something that you want to avoid. I think so many people think, okay, it's going to cost so much to be able to put in a new unit, I want to keep repairing it. But that could actually cost more money in the long run if you're paying for inefficiency.
Right. Yeah, it actually, if you have an inefficient system, it costs you money to keep it. Another little thing that you know we kind of use is the 50% rule. So you take the cost of the repair times the age of the system, and if that's more than 50% of the cost of a new system, then you should think about a new one. So let's say you're looking at a $900 repair, and your system's 10 years old. So 900 times 10, $9,000. You can probably get a new system for, you know, less than half of that. So go ahead and get the new system.
Absolutely. It'll save you money in the long run
Yes.
and probably cool your home a little better too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those are a lot more efficient than the older models. When somebody is looking for a new AC system, a new HVAC system, what are some things to consider?
The biggest consideration is making sure the unit gets sized properly. Don't assume that the size you have now is the correct size, because the conditions may have changed over the years. So if you put in a system that's too big, it's not going to run long enough to remove the humidity from your home. And humidity is not just uncomfortable, it also causes a lot of problems in your home. If you put in one that's too small, it's not going to be able to keep up in extreme temperatures. The other thing that we've been talking about is like SEER rating. That's the energy efficiency. So SEER is just a rating for air conditioners, like miles per gallon for a car. So a car that gets 30 miles to the gallon costs you less to operate than a car that gets 15 miles to the gallon. SEER is the same thing. The higher that number goes, the less it costs you to operate the system. And so in a lot of cases, you can actually, the system pays for itself in the utility savings because it's so much more efficient.
Good to know. What does that process look like? If it's time to go ahead and replace, how does it all work?
Yep. So the biggest thing that needs to happen is you need to have an in-home assessment and load calculation done to determine what is the right size system. And a lot of contractors don't do this. They just replace what's there. They assume what's there is correct and they replace it. So once that's been determined, then we remove the old equipment. We do whatever repairs or replacements are needed to the ductwork, and then we install the new system. Most of our installations, we can do it in a single day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and so
Because
then
nobody
we can
wants to live without air conditioning.
Nobody.
So our guys get there early and work hard and get it knocked down.
That's fantastic to know. So this doesn't have to be a lengthy process.
Right.
It doesn't have to be something where you're going days without AC. That's a nightmare for many of us. Is there anything else people need to know about this process and maintaining this throughout the year?
Yep. The most important factor in determining the longevity and comfort of your system is the installation process. If it's not sized properly and installed properly, it will not function properly. The other thing that people need to think about when they're thinking about a new one is labor warranties and manufacturer's warranties. They aren't all the same. So do your homework, make sure you understand that. And regular maintenance is going to extend the life of any system. So
of course,
do that.
Making sure to keep up with this. Carrie, every time you're on the show, you give me new fuel to think about and new questions to think about with my own home. Like, is it time? Certainly a good thing to consider. And we can, of course, call your team and go online to find out more.
Yep.
Wonderful. Carrie, great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.